No arena is more unforgiving than the frozen Arctic, and on this deadly stage, only one ruler reigns supreme. The polar bear, the most perfectly evolved land predator nature has ever forged. When hunger awakens its hunting instinct, almost no animal can escape. Welcome to Polar Bear Hunts, the fastest and most ferocious hunting moments ever captured. The polar bear is the largest land carnivore in the world, a symbol of power in the frozen polar wilderness. An adult male can weigh approximately 1,320 to 1,540 pounds, with a body perfectly adapted for hunting in extreme conditions. More than just muscle, it also possesses a layer of fat up to about 4 inches thick, a biological shield that helps retain heat in icy waters and provides energy during periods of food scarcity. This fat layer allows it to swim for many miles in freezing water without becoming exhausted. When familiar prey, such as seals, becomes scarce, hunger begins to take hold, forcing the polar bear to hunt whatever opportunity appears. A tense pursuit unfolds across the icy water. A reindeer enters the water, a desperate choice, hoping that distance will provide safety. The polar bear closes in fast, relentless, and without hesitation. A powerful bite secures the neck. The large prey animal is pulled beneath the frigid water. There is no chance of escape. The bear drags the prey onto the shore, a victory achieved not only through strength, but through an almost perfect adaptation to one of the harshest environments on Earth. Walruses are often called the giants of the Arctic. An adult male can weigh between 1,760 and 3,750 pounds. With their extremely thick skin and long, powerful tusks, a healthy walrus is fully capable of inflicting fatal injuries on a polar bear. That is why carefully assessing the situation before attacking helps this predator make the right decision. Along a rocky Arctic island, a massive colony of walruses has gathered. Hidden within the sea fog, a hungry polar bear slowly moves closer. Their hide and blubber, which can reach 6 inches in thickness, are nearly impossible for the bear's claws to penetrate. Without warning, the starving bear attacks, charging straight into a wall of blubber and thick hide. The enormous prey struggles violently, dragging the bear toward the water. The prey is simply too powerful. Within moments, the walrus escapes into the sea, leaving the exhausted bear behind with painful injuries. In the wild, desperation can lead to deadly gambles. Sometimes choosing the wrong target can cost a predator its life. In the Arctic, calories are king, and fat is the most valuable resource. Polar bears survive, stay warm, and store enough energy to endure the brutal winter almost entirely by feeding on animal fat. A beluga whale is a treasure trove of energy. Its blubber can be as much as 6 inches thick and accounts for 40 to 50% of its body weight. Bringing down a single beluga can provide a polar bear with enough food to survive for weeks. Hunting a beluga in open water is no easy task. The bears must blend into their surroundings and wait for the pod to swim within reach. A tense period of patience precedes a single powerful and decisive strike. In the end, their patience is rewarded. When winter arrives too quickly, pods of beluga whales can become trapped in small breathing holes, unable to reach the open ocean. Although the reward is enormous, bringing down an animal measuring about 13 feet long and weighing up to 2,200 pounds is no simple task for a single polar bear. The predator waits beside the breathing hole, where its prey has nowhere else to surface. Each time the whale rises for air, a heavy blow crashes down. Eventually, the giant animal becomes a feast for the polar bear. Polar bears have an exceptionally low hunting success rate, averaging only 1 successful hunt out of every 20 attempts. To avoid being detected by seals, they often swim in a wide arc, silently approaching from downwind to eliminate any chance of their scent being carried to the prey. The predator closes in from behind the edge of the ice and suddenly launches a decisive attack. Even though the seal dives into the water in a desperate attempt to escape, it cannot break free from the bear's deadly jaws. The unfortunate animal is dragged onto the ice and becomes a vital meal for the predator. A seal's thick blubber contains more than 100,000 calories, enough to keep the hunter alive for an entire week. These predators never miss an opportunity. Across the endless frozen wilderness, everything appears silent, with no sign of life or prey. But with a sense of smell estimated to be 100 times more sensitive than that of humans, polar bears can detect scent through snow and ice from dozens of miles away. Once the prey's location is pinpointed, the predator uses its strength and powerful claws to break through the ice. Even if a mother seal hides her pup beneath more than 3 feet of snow, it can still be pulled onto the frozen surface. There is almost no chance of survival. The narwhal, a creature of the frozen ocean carrying a spiral tusk that can reach lengths of up to 10 feet. But it is not a weapon. It is a living sensor helping the animal detect the slightest changes in its environment. In darkness deeper than 4,900 feet, where pressure can overwhelm most forms of life, the narwhal continues to exist, silent, mysterious, and almost untouchable. But in this frozen world, nothing is completely safe. In Bhutan Bay, narwhals often swim close to shore to take advantage of currents and food sources. A familiar habit, but also a risky one. And today, that very habit has turned them into targets for the white phantom, the polar bear.
We have not seen the act of hunting itself, population of narwhals at the time of the visit.
The prey is captured within the icy water.
Is that this bear, if the water is deep, then she be diving deep so that the bear would release it to the blowhole. Then a narwhal can...
But the challenge is not over. Now the true test begins. The hunter must drag prey weighing 2 to 3 times its own body weight onto slippery rocks.
No, it didn't work again. Down in the fjord.
In the end, after all the effort, it manages to keep its reward. A victory earned not only through strength, but through relentless determination and an unwillingness to give up. Along the coast of Nunavut, Canada, a lone polar bear stumbles upon a free meal, the carcass of a massive narwhal. With a remarkably expandable stomach, a polar bear can consume up to 100 pounds of meat and blubber in a single feeding. Even more impressive, its digestive system is capable of absorbing as much as 84% of the fat it consumes, turning every bite into a valuable energy reserve. In the wild, luck can be a survival skill of its own. In the world of the solitary king, polar bears leave no room for weakness. The crown belongs only to those strong enough to keep it. Even when food is abundant, large males still seek control of the best feeding spots where the richest fat reserves are found. Any challenge from a weaker individual is viewed as an unacceptable disruption, and in this world, such disruptions are not tolerated. The two bears rise onto their hind legs, facing each other directly. Powerful strikes are exchanged without hesitation. Teeth and claws collide, cutting through the cold air and leaving painful wounds behind. There is no compromise, only the one that stands firm and the one that yields. The winner claims more than a meal, it reinforces its dominance over the area. The Arctic is more than a frozen wilderness, it is the last stronghold of one of Earth's greatest predators. Every hunt, every cub raised, and every hard-earned meal depends on sea ice that is disappearing year by year. As the climate continues to warm, the polar bear's greatest threat is no longer hunger, but the loss of its home. Protecting the Arctic means giving this extraordinary hunter a chance to survive for generations to come.